Hi, I'm Barry Ostrowski. At RWJ Barnabas Health, we believe that everyone needs to be informed about the important healthcare issues affecting their lives. That's why we're proud to support the important educational programming produced by the Caucus Educational Corporation.
Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by RWJ Barnabas Health, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, NJIT, New Jersey Institute of Technology, PSC&G, committed to providing safe, reliable energy now and in the future, Valley Bank, and by the Fidelco Group. Promotional support provided by NorthJersey.com and Local IQ, part of the USA Today network. And by BestOfNJ.com, all New Jersey in one place.
This is One-on-One. I'm an equal American just like you are.
The jobs of tomorrow are not the jobs of yesterday.
Look at this. You got this?
Here it is, man. Look at that.
Life without dance is boring.
I don't care how good you are or how good you think you are, there is always something to learn.
Do you enjoy talking politics?
No.
People call me because they feel nobody's paying attention.
Our culture, I don't think, has ever been tested the way it's being tested right now.
That's a good question. High five.
Hi, this is Steve Adubato. I'm at the 9th annual New Jersey Sharing Network 5K. Some people walking, some people running, but all of them, 10 to 12,000 of them, are all involved with the Sharing Network, giving the gift of life. That's the slogan, but it's way more than a slogan. You got people who are organ donors. You got donor families. You got donor recipients, organ recipients. You've got people who are coming together to make a difference, to share, to cry, to laugh together, to be together here in New Providence at the New Jersey Sharing Network 5K. It's going to change the way you look at life and giving back. 9 times they've done this. We're here in beautiful New Providence, New Jersey. We're honored to be joined by our colleague and friend, Elisse Glennon, Vice President and Chief Administrative Officer of the Sharing Network. Elisse, we were just talking to your colleague, Joe Roth. This is big, much bigger than you anticipated when you started a few years ago?
Yes, absolutely. When we started this race, this walk 9 years ago, we had no idea what to expect. Some thought maybe we would get a couple hundred people. And today, and for the last couple of years, we've had over 10,000 people come together to honor organ donation in this way.
Describe, and again, the beauty of this show as you watch it, is you'll get to meet so many recipients, so many appreciative recipients, some donors, but in certain cases, obviously, donor families. Some will walk together, meaning the recipients and the donor families, and some donors who are fortunately still with us. They gave the gift of life. That term, I ask you all the time, the gift of life, it's not an overstatement at all.
No, not at all. And what you just described about who you're going to see here today, you're going to see smiles and hugs and joy. You will also see tears, obviously of sadness and memorial tears, but they are also tears of joy as people watch their loved ones' legacies live on in other recipients. So no, it's not an overstatement to say it's the gift of life. We always say it's the greatest gift someone could give, especially at the time of their passing.
You've seen this and been a part of it and making a difference for several years now. The biggest progress we've made, and I know there's still 4,000 people waiting just in New Jersey for an organ. Right, they're on a list somewhere. It's the biggest progress you think we've made?
You know, people are talking about organ donation. People understand it more. They're willing to learn more about it as well. You know, the 4,000 people on the waiting list, we are working every day to get them their transplants. But with medical advances, there will always be a waiting list because people are staying healthier longer. Physicians are keeping them alive longer and getting them on the waiting list for that transplant that could save their life.
Elisse, for interrupting. Reducing the number of people on the waiting list isn't the only barometer to measure success.
No, absolutely not. I mean, previously, some of these patients would have simply passed away. They wouldn't have had the opportunity to get on the waiting list, to get a potential organ transplant to save their life. So for us, we really want to reduce the deaths on the waiting list. There is no reason for someone to die waiting for an organ if we could get everyone to say yes to organ donation. And like you said, with programming like yours and other programs like today at the 5K and the families that are here that that spread our message kind of exponentially. More and more people are talking about it. More and more people are less afraid than they were, maybe a decade ago. And so, we're just so appreciative of the continued conversation.
Elisse, make the 2020 Transplant Games come alive. Now, we don't actually have video of it because we're taping in the summer of 19. But in July of 2020, there's going to be a huge event, a national event called the Transplant Games. Paint a picture for us.
Okay, well, today you have 10,000 people in one morning in the town of New Providence. What you'll have next year is a six-day festival of organ donors, recipients, and their families from all over the country coming to New Jersey in places, and we'll have festivities in the Meadowlands, we'll have festivities in Newark. There will be opening ceremonies similar to the Olympics with the torch and the parade, and there will be competitions throughout the entire week. But it's not just about sporting competitions, not just about the medals. What you're going to see are donor families putting the medals on awarding the medals to the recipients. Again, more hugs, more tears, more smiles. I would say it's an enormous 5K event over the course of 6 days, bringing the entire country together.
New Jersey has it because?
New Jersey has it because New Jersey wants it. New Jersey wants to show the world that we can put on events like
A lot of competition.
A lot of competition to host the games. Yes, absolutely. And this is the place to do it. We have a large population, a large waiting list, like you mentioned before, and a lot of opportunity to educate the community. Being part of the New York media market as well, we'll bring in our partners from across the river, and we'll make a lot of noise about organ donation.
Last question. Every year we talk about how willing people are or unwilling to deal with the topic of organ and tissue donation. The taboo around the topic. Where are we?
I think we're in a very good place. I actually think one of the positives of social media is around this. There have been so many positive stories shared, and people tend to share them, and it tugs at their heartstrings, and they realize that it's really not taboo. It's really something that can be discussed at the dinner table with your family, with your friends, and it's just one of the most beautiful things. So I think it's less and less taboo.
I have our media colleague and friend, Bob Williams, who has been a great broadcaster for a long time, a kidney recipient, and Kim, say your last name, Kim?
Roumes.
Now, let me get this straight. This guy needs a kidney. He's on a list for a while. You're the neighbor. And what happens?
I received a post from his wife from Facebook. Actually, not even from his wife, from friends of ours, because we weren't really friends on Facebook. And I saw the post, and I've known Bob for many, many years. However, we hadn't seen each other probably for, 2 or 3 years. And I saw the post, and Bob is the most wonderful, kindest, nicest person if you've ever met him.
And the post said?
It gave a description of how Bob was feeling and that he was in stage 4 kidney failure. And he would have to go on to dialysis, which is not a lifelong solution, and that they were waiting for a donor for 2-3 years.
You were on a list for a while.
I was on a list for
I'll come back to you.
About 6 months. I just got qualified, but I was well aware that the waiting list for a deceased donor recipient is about 3 to 5 years. And now I just find out today that the list is even longer, Steve. It's 5 to 7 years here in New Jersey.
Okay, but my research tells me, and as a broadcaster, you appreciate this. By the way, give a plug to the organization you've been a part of for a while.
New Jersey 101.5, Town Square Media, and they've been very supportive of me. They said whatever I need to get healthy and to find a donor, they were greatly behind me, Steve.
So the interesting thing is I read about this, is that were you in fact reluctant to ask for help?
Yes, I was. I was on the deceased donor list as of last April of 2018. But then I'm a public person, but I'm also very private. And I was very reluctant. I was just mortified at going public with my plea that I needed a kidney.
And your wife says?
My wife says, "Are you crazy? If you don't, you're going to end up on dialysis and you may die." So let's get a letter together. So she got together with our dear friend Tom Kaminsky's wife, Lynn.
Great guy.
Who is a double lung recipient back in 2017. Lynn and Kathleen, my wife, crafted a letter. They put it on Facebook. We did it last October, and it got some
Let's pick up the story from there. Yeah. And so you see and you say, I haven't seen this guy around. I know he's on the radio, but what the heck? I'll help.
It literally was like that. I sat there, read the post. Kathleen, his wife, gave a very good description of what it all involved, and it seemed pretty simple to me. And I said to myself, right then and there, I think I'm going to see if I'm a match. And I filled out the application to St. Barnabas, because that's where we had our surgery. That facility is amazing. And went from there. And I filled it out. I got a notice about a week later. And then, coincidentally, we run into each other the next day at Panera, and I was with my daughter.
A lot of folks are getting free plugs right now.
Yeah, okay. Right. So I was at the register, and all of a sudden I hear, "Hi, Kim," and I turn around, and it's Bob standing there. Now, mind you, we hadn't seen each other in at least 2 years. And I said, "Wait, I have to talk to you." And he said, "Okay." And I walked over, and I said, "How are you? How are you feeling?" He said, "Well, it's been rough and I've been really tired, but they did tell me at the hospital today that there was a match." And I looked at him and I said, "That's me." I said,
Okay, hold on now. And you say?
And I said, "Oh my God, it's you." And I just started hugging her, and her daughter's there, and I couldn't stop hugging her. I said to her daughter, Tara, I said, "You have the most wonderful mother on the planet." I said, "I cannot believe what you're doing for me." And then Kim said, "Well, I'm not a complete clearance yet." Right. But then she goes like this, Steve. She crosses her fingers. She goes, "Let's hope this works out." And Steve, at that point, I was losing hope because it had been about 4 to 6 weeks since the post. I knew somebody was going in. I didn't know who that person was. But when I ran into Kim just haphazardly, and she said, "Let's hope this works out," I was over the moon. I couldn't stop hugging her. Another 10 minutes. I started to ball up. I left her, and I went to my car, and I cried. And I called Kathleen immediately, and I said, "You won't believe what just happened."
And that's where I say it was truly meant to be. And we hadn't seen each other, and it's not a coincidence that we ran into each other. This was a sign, and this was meant to be.
Fast forward. How are you feeling today?
I feel incredibly great. I feel better than I've felt in years. And after the surgery, I didn't realize how sick I was getting, Steve. I was very close to going on dialysis within days, maybe a couple of weeks. My kidney function was in the single digits. My blood pressure was out of control. I had about 20 pounds of fluid on my body at the surgery time. It all came off. The kidney started working immediately after the surgery, and it's been progressively better and better. I'm 3.5, almost 4 months out. I'm totally compliant with what the hospital is telling me. My medications have been pretty steady, and I'm just doing everything they tell me, and I'm just overwhelmed.
How are you feeling today?
I feel normal. Is that a good thing?
It's a great thing.
I feel like I didn't do anything. And
Come on.
I say that. No,
I gave the gift of life. No big deal. Come on.
I don't mean it that way. I just want to let everybody know that this is such a simple thing to do.
I'm sorry. Yeah, make that part clear.
I know that sounds really silly, but when you find out the information and you do the research, it will only confirm your decision to do something like this. This has been an amazing, overwhelming gratification for me. And people ask me all the time, "Well, how do you feel? How do you feel? And why did you do this?" And it's truly from the bottom of my heart. I feel great. I feel normal. I really do. I feel normal. I don't feel like I'm walking around with one kidney.
Yeah, by the way, I always disclose this. My wife gave her kidney to her brother, and she's much tougher than I am. And soon after, she's like, "When can I work out?" So I hear what you're saying.
That's so awesome.
So hold on. What do you got there?
Well, this is something that Kim wrote to me after we got home. We were both texting each other after we were discharged from the hospital. And I texted her in the middle of the night because I couldn't sleep. And I said, I'm sitting here not being able to sleep, and I cannot believe what you've done for me. I will never stop telling you how much I love you.
You want to read that?
Yes. And then
Can we do this, Team Jackie? Can we do it?
She texted me back, Bob, I would imagine it's a difficult thing to take in. I tell people that I know you are the type of person that would have done the same thing. I felt from the very beginning that this was something my heart was telling me to do. I kept saying, why should I be able to live a good life and not Bob? I wanted you to be able to live out the rest of your life enjoying your kids and Kathleen and all that they will achieve. I was never looking for praise. I just wanted to be able to help. I don't want you to feel like you have to repay me. Just continue to feel better and live to see your grandchildren, hopefully, and what they may accomplish. I chose you because you are a special person, and now we have a bond that connects us for the rest of our life. This was meant to be, and together we're going to change things. And I printed it out and I carried it in my wallet from that day.
So special.
Thanks, both of you.
To see more one-on-one with Steve Adubato programs, visit us online at steveadubato.org. If you would like to express an opinion, email us at info@caucusnj.org. Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/Steve Adubato PhD and follow us on Twitter at Steve Adubato.
This is the New Jersey Sharing Network 5K, and some wonderful people are here, and about to meet another one. This is Megan Esposito, and you're the team captain of what team?
Gerry's Ragin Roosters.
Tell folks about Gerry.
Well, Gerry's my mom, and she passed away on June 27th of last year. So we're coming up on the year anniversary. So this is our first 5K that we're doing, but she was a very passionate organ donor. She believed really strongly about it. And
did she talk about it?
Yes. We, she wouldn't always bring it up in conversation, but if it was ever a topic of discussion, she would persuade people to be an organ donor and make that switch on their license, just because she wanted to help any way she could.
Describe the team you have today. By the way, you decide, you and your colleagues who are behind you, decide to be a part of this. Why?
I think it's just a really good way for all of us to come together. The team is composed of family and friends, and we've gotten a lot of support. We luckily have a big family that has been supporting us through the whole journey, and I think we were just finally ready to get involved and really celebrate her.
You know, what people sometimes don't appreciate, we need to do a better job at this, is communicating and helping people understand a little bit more about what happens. How did the Sharing Network connect with you and your family at a very critical time?
Well, we were in the hospital for a few days with my mom before she had officially passed away, and Jackie Salvatore from the Sharing Network connected with us in the hospital, and she was basically our liaison. She answered all of our questions. She walked us through the whole process. She kept in contact, and I actually still keep in contact with Jackie every so often. She checks in, and it's been great having them along just to be another support system.
It's a message you have for everyone watching right now who says, wow, that's powerful and important, but I'm not a part of the solution. You say?
I would just say reconsider, because there's so much that you can do, even in just the smallest of ways. If you don't want to be an organ donor, come to these events. Volunteer, anything. You can do anything if you want to just help out in any way.
Yeah, by the way, could you bring in the folks behind you? Come on in, folks. Do us a favor. Again, these teams, they all have great stories, and go ahead, tell us who they are.
Well, this is my dad, John. This is my sister, Natalie, and this is my boyfriend, Jordan.
And you're all in. You decided to come all be a part of this. And the other folks who are participating with your team?
Aunts, uncles, grandma, cousins.
Hold on, this is an Italian family?
Well, my dad's side of the family is Italian, but not my mom's.
Okay, well, you're all coming together for this. Yeah. Listen, have a wonderful race. You're doing important work, and thank you all so much. More special friends here at the New Jersey Sharing Network 5K. You are?
Michelle Clausen.
And this young lady is?
Greta Clausen.
And Greta, tell us, can you get down here, Brian? Greta, talk to us. Tell us why you're here at the 5K.
It's to run and to be thankful for my donor family and to
You are thankful, aren't you?
yeah.
Okay. Mom, let's talk about what is she grateful for?
She's a heart transplant. She had it done when she was 8 months old. She's 12 now.
Describe that whole experience.
So she is a twin. She has a twin brother. We also have an older sibling at home. We found out January 3rd of 2007 that she had a type of cardiomyopathy called non-compaction. Very fast process. We were only waiting for about 2 weeks, which is very unusual.
Usually much longer.
Usually much, much longer, and sometimes multiple surgeries before you get to the transplant. So we didn't really know a lot about the whole process. She had it done at Columbia Presbyterian in New York City. Fabulous staff walked us through the whole process and recovery and what we were to expect when we came home. So it's a little bit of a blur because it happened so quickly and we have other children at home, but she's doing fabulous. So one of the things we're trying to do is create awareness, say thank you.
Is that why you're here? Is that why you're here at the race today?
It is. We've been doing it for about 8 years. So when they were about 3 or 4, we started with walking them in the stroller, creating some type of way to say thank you to the community. And New Jersey Sharing Network is right here. We're local. So we wanted to be able to say thank you and to now we're doing a lot of volunteer activities as well to, again, promote what happens here, but really a small way to say thank you to her donor family and all the donor families that have to go through this.
I think you want to say more. What about saying thank you? I mean, why is that so important?
Is to say, because it's to giving back what you're thankful for, and to some way give it back to the donor who gave it to you.
We're here with Mr. Justin Johnson, who is part of the Sharing Network team. Tell us what you do, sir.
Yeah, I'm the Director of Clinical Services here with the Sharing Network.
Translate that.
I'm over our call center and our transplant coordinator staff that are out in the field and working with the families and honoring the gift of donation.
Why do you do this work?
It's a beautiful way for me to be able to contribute in saving lives, and I just feel like, my selfless, being selfless and being able to help those that are in need has always been something that's been near and dear to my heart.
But most of us here happen to be from New Jersey originally. You happen to be from Texas.
Born and raised Texan. I've been in New Jersey about a month and a half now.
Is that right?
Yes, sir. So I just moved up from Texas. Carolyn Welch, vice president, is one who recruited me and got me here, and I've enjoyed New Jersey so far.
The culture's a little bit different?
Very different. Weather's great, but I hadn't been through the winter yet, so we'll see.
Well, listen, talk to us just a little bit more, because what people sometimes miss, Justin, is exactly how this works. And I know you've only been here for a short period of time, but what do you see in the people that you meet, the donors, the donor families, and the recipients of incredibly important gifts of life?
Correct. One thing that I always see is that at the worst time of anybody's life, that people are always thinking about others and how they can give life to others. And so that's something that is, just streamlined through the process here in Jersey. And being here so far, I've been able to see just how people want to give and be able to share and give life to others. And it's our way of being able, we can partner to make sure that we get all those things handled.
Now, you've seen other organizations, not-for-profits, people who do this kind of work. How do you think this organization is different?
This organization is different from the culture. From the top down, it's just everybody is bonded together, whether what role you work in, whether you work in accounting, whether you work in other parts, they're all tied to saving lives through donation, and that's our core values.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating over 30 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by RWJ Barnabas Health, Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, the Robert Wood Johnson Foundation, NJIT, PSC&G, Valley Bank, and by the Fidelco Group. Promotional support provided by NorthJersey.com and Local IQ, and by BestofNJ.com. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area.
I think at NJIT there are a lot of smart students.
I came to NJIT for mechanical engineering because with in-state, it's one of probably the top 3 schools for engineering. It sort of creates a friendly competition where you know you can learn from them.
It's a great academic school.
I feel I'm being challenged, but at the same time, I love the classes I'm taking.
The atmosphere of being here is like being at an upstart company. It's that same kind of drive, that same kind of passion.